Hello, and welcome to the Voice of the Teacher podcast, the premiere episode. My name is Jacob Montag, and I would like to introduce myself to you. I've been a public educator for nearly a decade. Over the course of that decade, I've seen many trends, ideas, controversies, and debates come and go. A lot happened in a relatively short period of time. The longest lasting and most continual debate is over how we know students are learning essential content and life skills. And we know for a number of reasons there has been a disparity given a lot of different factors when linked to the performance of schools. Socioeconomic status, race, therefore there was the assumption made that there should be some accountability. I agree. However, the way that we're holding students and schools accountable for learning is the same way that we've been doing it since the Industrial Revolution in the 1800s. And we thought until recently that was probably sufficient. However, we kept seeing a continuous pattern of no growth, of no opportunities, and students feeling disenfranchised. And when I stopped to reflect over my 10 years in education, particularly in secondary education, it was the students that saw the least amount of value in what I was giving them that spoke to me. Any teacher in an on-level class, myself included, most likely has heard a student say at some point, "What is the point of this assignment?" The question has merit, and I didn't give it enough when I was a young educator. Because I tried to give them reasons as to why the stuff I was giving them had a point to it, and it usually came back to passing that all-sufficient standardized test. I say that very tongue-in-cheek, because I was tricking myself and trying to trick my students too. And so after much searching, I discovered something that I believe is better than a standardized test and just one-off assignments. It's called an ePortfolio, and it gives value to the daily work that the kids are doing. What does an ePortfolio do? It collects their assignments. The assignments they're given give the kids choice, ownership, voice, and authenticity. If you recognize that, it's probably because you're familiar with the COVA framework. It lets there be a running thread between assignments and contents and even their various classes. Students get a topic, they do the work, and they find their way to present the findings in their voice. And it provides a motivation that's very hard to explain until you see it for yourself. And I'll tell you some stories here in a minute. Whenever the assignments are submitted, though, that's when teachers find new ways to give feedback. It looks like it could be one-on-one conferences and so on and so forth. I ask students questions to have them prove their mastery, such as who, what, where, when, why, what is the legacy and impact. Mastery is awarded when they can talk about the legacy and impact of a topic, having created a position, and they can defend it. Similar, not all that dissimilar to what you would see in a master's program. And so you're already upping the kids' game, so to speak. The kids who I did this with this past fall were the ones that actually would ask me, what's the point of the assignments, and say stuff like, this is tedious. And even the ones who didn't like it, they liked it to some extent. It's just they felt like it was not enough structured, so they needed that checklist. They needed to know what specifically goes where. So I took that feedback, and when I did it the second time around, I did revise my requirements. I did have more strict and structured conversations with them. But I still gave them that freedom to present it, to research it, to find what they were interested in their groups. Shout out to my campus for allowing that to happen, because it took what was already happening on that campus, such as interdisciplinary collaboration between myself and the English class, and it took it to a whole new level. And so I believe that there's many adventures to be had with ePortfolios. I think it went well for a soft trial run while I was still learning about it, and it actually took our students to a whole new level that year. And I'm grateful for everyone who was involved in that adventure. I'm going to be telling more stories about it in an article that I'm going to be having published soon, so I would encourage you to look at that. And look for more episodes on this YouTube channel. This has been the Voice of the Teacher. We'll see you next time.